A lot of people still debate who is the biggest puncher out of these two heavyweight champions. On one hand, you have Mike Tyson, who is once the most feared fighter of all time, with his tight haircut, no robe, plain black shorts, and boots with no socks. Most old timers imagine him to be a reincarnation of Jack Dempsey. In the modern era, where massive heavyweights are all the rage, the 5'10" Tyson might appear to be an unlikely menacing force, but in that small frame with his 19-inch neck, which seemed to be part of his back, he packed tremendous power. At his peak, there was no more destructive force in the heavyweight division. Then on the other hand, you have the two versions of George Foreman, the fierce giant that devoured his victims as quickly as they were served up to him. And then you have the 90s Foreman, who still knocked out everybody that stood in his path, but he did it with a smile. Now, like in all my videos when I compare two heavyweights, I'm going to do it objectively. I'm going to have many categories because Mike Tyson and George Foreman both had very long careers, so there's many different ways you can compare them both for power. In fact, there's 7 different ways you can compare them for power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a comparison between them all for these 7 categories, and whoever comes out on top gets 1 point, and whoever doesn't, if you lose in that category, you get 0 points. Then you add it all up in the end. So with 7 categories, there's got to be a winner, obviously. So the 7 categories are going to be... So the 7 categories are their total KO rate, excluding no contests, because Mike Tyson's got 2 non-contests that affect his total KO rate. Second category is KO rate against small heavyweights under 215 pounds. Then third category is KO rate against large heavyweights 215 pounds, what we would call heavyweights today. Then KO rate against opponents that have never been knocked out before, that have had at least 10 fights. The reason being, if you've not had many fights, it's hard to get an idea how well you take a punch. So the quality control is going to be they have to have at least 10 fights for that. So the fifth category is keep their KO rate against quality opponents. So the quality control for this is it excludes any heavyweight that has had a quarter of their record as losses. So the quarter of the total opponents they have taken on is a loss. So example, if you had 40 fights and 10 of them are losses, then you're not good enough quality to be included in that category. So the sixth category is their KO rate within the first 3 rounds against the total number of opponents. So it'll just be adding up all the opponents they knocked out within the first 3 rounds. And then taking that as a KO percentage. And then the 7th category is just comparing common opponents that George Foreman and Mike Tyson have and seeing who knocked them out the quickest. So for the first category, Mike Tyson has a total KO rate of 79%. And George Foreman has a total KO rate of 84%. So George Foreman gets the first point. The second category is KO rate against small heavyweights. So Mike Tyson knocked out 16 out of 17 heavyweights under 215 pounds. So his KO rate is 94%. George Foreman knocked out 34 heavyweights out of 39 under 215 pounds, which gives him a KO rate of 87%. So Mike Tyson is now drawn with 1 point because he had the higher KO rate. Third category, big heavyweights, 215 plus pounds. That's what we call a heavyweight today. Mike Tyson knocked out 28 out of 39 of them, which gives him a KO rate of 72%. George Foreman knocked out 28 out of 36 of them, which gives him a KO rate of 78%. So George Foreman takes the lead again with another point. Fourth category, against opponents that have had at least 10 fights that have never been knocked out before, who has the highest KO rate. Mike Tyson knocked out 7 out of 9 of them, which gives him a KO rate of 78%. George Foreman knocked out 4 out of 9 of opponents like that. He has a KO rate of 44%. So Mike Tyson is now drawn again and scores another point. Fifth category, against quality of opponents, good quality opponents that don't have a lot of losses on their record. Mike Tyson knocked out 21 of them out of 28 of them, which gives him a KO rate of 75%. George Foreman knocked out 16 out of 24 of them, which gives him a KO rate of 66%. So this gives Mike Tyson the lead with an extra point. Now on to the sixth category. KOs, their KO percentage by knocking out opponents in the first 3 rounds. So Mike Tyson knocked out 35 opponents in the first 3 rounds out of the 56 opponents he faced during his career, which gives him a KO rate of 62%. George Foreman knocked out 46 opponents in the first 3 rounds out of the 81 he faced, which gives him a KO rate of 56%. So Mike Tyson gets another point. So Mike Tyson is 2 points in the lead now. And it goes into the final category, which is KOs against common opponents. They both have 5 common opponents. The first common opponent is obviously Evander Holyfield, who they both lost to, so no one gets any points for that one. The next one, Steve Zuzik. Foreman stopped him in the 4th round. Mike Tyson stopped him in the 3rd round. So Mike Tyson wins there. Then you got Mike Jamieson. Foreman stopped him in the 4th round, where Mike Tyson stopped him in the 5th round. So Foreman wins there. Alex Stewart, George Foreman, majority decisions him. Mike Tyson knocks him out in the 1st round. Then there's Luis Tavares. Sorry, I pronounced that probably wrong. George Foreman won a split decision, where Mike Tyson knocked him out in the 1st round. So Mike Tyson knocked out 3 opponents, and George Foreman only knocked out 1 opponent better than Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson gets another point. So that means Mike Tyson wins 5 points to 2. So I'm sorry if your fighter lost, but I'm just doing this objectively as I can, and objectively Mike Tyson has proved to be the bigger puncher than George Foreman through his career.